Kavyal Seddani, an acclaimed life coach, hypnotherapist, and healer. As we speak on our theme today, from darkness to light.
If the question is, what did that darkness look like for me? I have to say that as an attitude, it looked like I had just given up.
How do you discern your ego from your intention, from your fears to your anxiety, and to who you really want to be, your desire?
It's hard, it all feels muddled up, but let me just break it down.
What are some tools that you can identify for people to come out of darkness and to come into light?
Everything is a lesson. Why are people crazy about having sex? Because when they're having sex, they are in. And it says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. That is the only way to be.
Damn, it's almost like a contract. Hello and welcome to Soul Sparked, a space where we explore stories of resilience, awakening, and the human spirit's power to heal. I'm your host, Naviksha, and today I'm joined by someone whose journey is as profound as it is illuminating. Welcome, Kavyal Seddani, an acclaimed life coach, hypnotherapist, and healer. Someone who's helped countless people reclaim their peace and purpose in life. So honored to have you here, Kavyal. Welcome.
Thank you, Bhavita. What a pleasure. Thank you so much.
You know, before you became a beacon of light to others, you walked through your own shadows. You've grappled with moments of pain, depression, and helplessness. And this is something that you've shared with quite candor in your work, on your social media, and every time you've presented yourself in the public space, you've been open about your own challenges and your own battles. So as we speak on our theme today, from darkness to light, I'd like to explore how does one find that inner light, that glimmer of ray and hope within themselves when everything around feels so dim? And also, how is it not just okay, but even deeply courageous to seek help? Let's hear from you.
Well, if the question is, what did that darkness look like for me? I have to say that as an attitude, it looked like I had just given up. My mind told me that it's never going to be different. This is how you're going to die. This is exactly how you're going to feel till the end of your life. You're never going to be happier. There is no scope of any change. People around you won't change. And that was the darkness. And I didn't have bits and pieces of darkness. I had dark nights, one after the other for many, many years. You know, my darkest moment came at a time, it was the 24th of May, 2008. And I was at a huge party, which had a lot of friends, a lot of celebrities. I was in a very fancy location. And I was going through my worst, where literally I felt like in the next 5 minutes, I would have just found myself in the ocean because I was in so much pain. Look at the contradiction that on the outside, I'm in one of the happiest places. It's one of the most happening parties in town. And internally, I felt like I was in hell. I had an angel experience then, which kind of didn't allow me to really jump off or didn't allow me to die. And I was pulled out of it. And then I heard a voice which says, you can do everything differently now. You can do everything differently now. And I stuck with that voice. I stayed with that. And I said, okay, if that was divine intervention, what can I do differently? I can't change people around me. I can't change my situations or my circumstances. The only thing or the person or the attitude I can change is my own. And that's when the journey started. That's when, true to its words, I was doing everything differently then. And my life is no longer what it was then.
You know, I am literally getting goosebumps and I am vibing so closely with that. In some ways, was this a moment of epiphany for you?
Yeah.
Because that voice of doomsday had also been speaking from within. It was internal. And now this voice of valor, of hope, and you got this and you can do this was also yours. Ironical?
I may want to differ there as I look back at life now, that the voice that told me, this is how you're going to die, it's never going to change, it's always going to be like this, was more my ego. Because the difference was that at that point of time, I felt like the only way my life would change was if other people changed my life for me, if other people changed themselves for me. And this voice that said that you can do everything differently now was truly the voice of my soul, which corrected me and said, everyone can continue to be the same. You will be different. This people confuse that. People think that even that was your intuition. This is your intuition. No, no, no. Your ego will always tell you it's other people's fault.
So,
You're
how?
the
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. I'm sure, especially to you on hindsight as you look back. But when one is going through all of this drama, this internal mind play, how do you discern your ego from your intention to from your fears to your anxiety and to who you really want to be, your desire? How do you sift through all of this?
It's hard. It all feels muddled up, but let me just break it down for you. Your pain is supposed to be the curriculum that your soul is supposed to go through to remember that it was always whole and complete, and that even if it's broken down now, it can still go back to whole and complete. Okay? Your ego will always tell you you are not at fault. You are the victim. It's other people's fault. It's other people's problem. And you are supposed to do nothing. It'll tell you you are right. Okay. Your intuition or your inner voice will tell you take a small step. It has a very soft voice. It has a very subtle guidance. It'll just tell you get up, do this, take that chance. Okay. But our ego, it uses our fear as a tool to make sure that you never fail. I'm going to repeat that. Your ego will use your fear as a tool to make sure you never fail by making sure that you never get started. If you
We're all
don't get
made
started,
for our fear. That's why. Yeah.
yes. And if you never get started, you're not going to fail. And your ego will give you 1,000 reasons and 1,000 excuses of why you should not be starting. It'll keep you in your own bubble. So we have women and men who come and say, oh, yes, I have a brilliant business idea and I could work on it only if I got this support, only if my children were older, only if my father wasn't this way, only if my mother was more supportive. All of those are your bubbles because you're scared. Outside the bubble is the fear that, listen, you'll work on your dream. You put your dream out there, people could judge you, you could fail, this could be a flop, you could be a flop show, people will laugh at you, there could be ridicule, and you don't want to face that. So it's easier to tell yourself a story of why you are not working on your dream. Do not fall for the ego. If you keep stuck in the ego, you will take multiple lifetimes to learn two simple lessons of your soul. We have 44 lessons of the soul to learn. How many times do you want to come back to the earth school? If you step out of your ego, you will realize you have always been supported. There is more than enough resources for you to move ahead. There are more than enough people who are willing to love you, who are willing to see the brighter side.
So, the way I'm hearing that, Kavyal, it seems almost that the soul is trying to normalize trying again, taking that next chance. Whereas the ego dramatizes failure. That's it. You're done. Finished.
Yes, yes, it will. And not giving into our ego is a huge challenge. We could waste lifetime after lifetime after lifetime in feeding our own egos. But stop that script. Stop that script. The minute something is telling you that, "Oh, I'm the best of the best," it's great to have great self esteem, but no, nobody is the best of the best. There's always someone better than us.
Yes, and you may not be your own best, right? Because you've actualized the present version of you. There is
Correct.
another one waiting out there, and you've got to work for it. You have to strive hard. So, something else you just mentioned curriculum. I know you're a new college mom yourself, and so am I right now. Going to college or any other formal mechanism of education, one has the liberty of designing your curriculum, picking your courses, making that course selection. Now, when we come to life school or earth school, as you know, I've heard you mention so many times, do we have that option? Is the choice ours? How to pick
Yes,
and
it is.
design the curriculum?
Absolutely, it is. I'm just going to read out a few words to you, some of the life lessons of the soul that we have. We have love, Forgiveness, regret, imagination, death, adversity, balance, honesty, health, growth, guilt, self esteem, so on and so forth. There are 44 lessons like that. And in any lifetime, we can choose that this lifetime, let me master denial, let me master growth, let me master sacrifice. And as human beings, because we learn in contrast, if we are supposed to break our denial in this lifetime, get over our denial, we will have a lifetime where we are forced by people around us to stay in denial so you cannot accept your reality until you wake up and break it. The day you wake up and break it, your lesson is completed. But for you to be mastering being understood, you can only master that in a premise of being misunderstood. Do you get the contradiction? So we have the opportunity, in fact, so many lifetimes where we have not mastered that lesson. The universe will give you another opportunity. Don't worry, take birth again, redo it again. You can start from scratch. Okay, you learned 30% of the curriculum, 70% is still left. Go for it again. It's very supportive. And we are also allowed to choose our tribe. We are allowed to choose who will teach you what. If you want to learn forgiveness and you want to learn it from your best friend on the soul world, you could choose your best friend to come and say, hey, why don't you come into my life as a lover at 30 and then completely shatter my beliefs and break my heart and abandon me at 34? And that lover will tell you, are you crazy? Why would you want me to do something drastic? And she's saying, no, because, it's a part of my curriculum. I still have to learn this. And I don't want to get my heart broken from anyone else. I'd be more comfortable with you. And I have a great connection with you, right? I want you to play this part. So the other souls have to volunteer and they have to say, okay, I'm willing or I'm not willing to play this. And also, maybe my part is also to ask for forgiveness. So if I break your heart, it also helps me in my curriculum that I know that I screwed up and now I'm going to ask for forgiveness. So it's a win win. We not only choose the curriculum, what subjects we want to learn when, we also choose our teachers. We also choose our timelines. It's all in our hands.
Damn, it's almost like a contract. It's all predefined, agreed, signed, sealed.
Absolutely. That's what we call Akashic records. That's what we call our soul contracts. That it was all decided, written, spoken, and planned by us. We are the script writers. We are the directors. We are the actors of our film. If you made a shitty film, you can change it.
So, मेरा क्वेश्चन फिर ये है कि उसका आउटकम, उसका पास, फेल, हिट या फ्लॉप, क्या वो भी predetermined है, or do we have choice on that?
You always have a choice. It's like the universe has given you a car. The universe has given you Google Maps. On Google Maps was the predestined location of where you were supposed to go, but you changed your mind. In between, you just said, I'm on Google Maps. Siri, you can shut up now. And you put the phone down, and I just want to explore. I want to drive by. I want to see what comes up. That's in your hands. So whether you pass that curriculum or you fail that curriculum, there's nothing like failure. It's just that, you need to do a better job. So come back and do it again. Okay. It's entirely in your hands what you make up out of your life. I don't know if you know the story. I've spoken about this multiple times. That in 3 other lifetimes of mine, I've been a murderer unconsciously. I have been a tormentor. People have died under my hands, and I have had no value for human life. I have had no value for them at all. And then there was another lifetime where I truly, truly, truly suffered it. And I kept wondering, oh my God, why would I have such a horrible lifetime? When I go back and I check my own records, I realize that I started this. So one rule to the soul realm is that we never start off as victims. We never start off as victims. So if you truly, truly are a victim in one lifetime, you need to go back and check where were you the perpetrator. This is a karmic balance for you then.
Spiritually, intellectually, that makes a lot of sense. But to someone who is experiencing the throes of utter tragedy and suffering and pain and is a victim of drastic actions or circumstances, how do they then differentiate or connect the dots that I somewhere propagated it, I designed it, which is why it's happening? Because the suffering is real time.
Yes,
the planning happened a long time ago.
Yes. I remember when I was 24, and I attended this program called Landmark Forum Education. I was 9 months pregnant at that time, and I was ranting about the troubles that I was having at home and my family not being supportive and me not feeling understood and blaming people around me for all the suffering I was going through. And my coach told me over and over and over and over again, I still wasn't getting it. He kept telling me, "You are responsible for this." I wasn't getting it. I'm like, "Are you crazy? Who would create a life like this? You think if I was responsible for it, I would have done this?" I was in absolute denial. And he told me this in front of 350 people. He said, "I am so close to coming and giving you a slap to wake you up. Until unless you do not give up your victim story, there is no moving ahead." I hated him in that moment. I didn't want to show up the next day. I'm like, that's it. This was humiliation. This was not called for. What does he think of himself? And I understand that what he was saying made complete sense. But when we are in pain, there is no wisdom. That is why people do therapy, to reduce the throes of the pain. When the pain is lesser, then you can think different. Everything is a lesson. So anyone who has ever watched any episode of mine, I reiterate this over and over again. This is not happening to you. This is happening for you. This is something I learned from Tony Robbins, the most brilliant contribution that he has given to us. This did not happen to you. This happened for you. What is it trying to teach you? What is it trying to teach you? What is it trying to teach you? Even if you say that I lost my baby, how could this teach me anything? What it is going to teach you is that love can be painful. Loss can be very traumatic. You may never be the same person again, but you will learn to love again. You will learn to feed 100 children again because you've been missing that one child of yours. Oprah Winfrey said that. She's saying it makes complete sense to my life why I never had a child. Because if I had a child, I would have become so selfish. And I would have become so self centered and so protective about my own baby that I wouldn't have adopted all of these hundreds of girls in Africa. And now all of them are my children. Now it makes sense. So sometimes our pain will take ages for it to make sense to us. It'll never make sense why we are in pain. Never. Don't even expect it to. No story I tell you is going to reduce your pain at that time. That is something only time will do.
So growth is the only option, is it? Learning and growing.
Upwards. When you are at rock bottom, you can only go upwards. There is no other way. Either you will die. If you are dying, if you're leaving your curriculum halfway, you're committing suicide, you're going to come back with a question paper which was twice as difficult because you can't leave your curriculum halfway. And learning through loss is also a huge part of our curriculum. It is one of your 44 lessons of the soul. It's a very hard one. I salute the mothers and the fathers who have lost their children because that is not a lesson I'm ever going to be willing to sign up for. And one day, if I have to come to that lesson that, Kavya, you finished 43, the 44th one, you've been pushing this for too long, I don't know how I'm going to do it. But the very, very brave souls do choose it. And we have to go through it. We feel like we are going to die, but we don't die. A part of us dies, and a part of us learns to live without them. Live again. We can't leave our curriculums halfway.
So all those 44 lessons are mandatory curriculum. Is that what I'm hearing? And how many lifetimes does it take to graduate all of them? Just 44?
700 million, 800, 1,000. The universe is in no hurry. It depends. The more aware you are, the more in gratitude you are, the more alert you are, the faster you will learn. The more you sit in denial, the more you sit in ego, the more you sit in fear, the more you sit in aggression, the later you learn. The choice is yours.
Which is, I guess, what we're discussing and speaking about today, finding that inner light, because all these other emotions or mindset qualities that you just described there are very closed off. They're cutting off that light, right? They're all darkness centric, denial, pain, self-loathe, complain, blame, whatever that might be. So light is coming out of that space into a realm of growth, a realm of possibility, exploring yourself, learning from it, and then becoming something that's more evolved and further progressed. But taking on and actioning that light requires courage. How does one find that courage then to find and feel your own light?
The way I have experienced it, if you are in a very, very, very dark space, the only gift you will receive from the universe is courage. the courage to live one more day, the courage to give it one more try, the courage to take one more breath. Have you seen this? I have seen this so often that people say that, oh, if I could die tomorrow, I'd just happily die tomorrow. And yet they will find themselves in a hospital 30 years later fighting for every single extra breath that they can get. What we are wanting to die is not life. We don't want life to end. We want one part of our pain to end. And that pain can only end when we start seeing things from a different perspective. Like, okay, things are upside down right now. How about me doing a headstand and seeing the downside? And then focused on the downside and I'm like, the downside's not as bad. It's not as bad. I mean, I've had um, you know, excellent days where my health was just fantastic. And I complained and I cribbed about it. And I said, oh, but only if I had more money to enjoy my life. And I've got more money now. And I'm like, oh, only if I had the health to enjoy my life. There's always going to be something missing. Okay. But we desperately need to change our perspective towards how this present moment is a blessing, towards how in this present moment, a lot of things are going well. And maybe in this present moment, that's enough. In tomorrow's moment that'll come tomorrow, we could create something else. We are always in control. We can always create whatever it is that we want. But the problem is, people either want to sit in yesterday or they want to sit in tomorrow. If you are constantly anxious, you're sitting in tomorrow. If you are constantly depressed, you're sitting in yesterday. But you're not in the present moment. In the present moment, I can see every small single feature of your face very, very clearly. There's nobody and nothing else on my mind. But being in the present has almost become a superpower. Very few people have it. Very, very few people have it. And that's really all we need. Why do all spiritual people come and tell you just focus on your breath, focus on your breath, do breath work? Because when you are focusing on your breath, you are truly in this present moment. Why are people crazy about having sex? Because when they're having sex, they are in the present moment. When they're laughing, they are in the present moment. But those are very fleeting moments. We have to practice this. The world has made us masters of distraction. We all have to practice coming back and saying, okay, I'm with you right now. And one of the easiest techniques is, okay, see my breath go up, see my breath go down, see my breath go up, see my breath go down. But it's not like I have to become a yogi for that. No, no, no. Just right now, right now. Stay with me right now. Look at me, hear me, talk to me right now. Just stay in that.
Yes, so true. Neither of us are yogis. And as a practitioner of breath work and a coach myself in this space for 26 years, right? I can vouch for the fact that I'm not a yogi. And I love the way you correlated the breath with our link to the present moment. Because if we think about it, आने वाली है उसको भी नहीं ले सकते हैं. So this moment, this breath,
That's
that's
right.
the pact.
That's right.
Yeah. And the other thing that struck me is that, and I was going to ask you this question. So, what are some tools that you can identify for people to come out of darkness and to come into light? What might some of those tools be? And I think I heard you mention gratitude in a big way.
Yeah. Okay. So this one I learned from Oprah Winfrey. One of her interviews where she was saying that when she has had her darkest moments, she has cried in the bathroom and she has fought with God and she has told him that I hate what you are doing to me, but thank you in advance. I hate this. I don't understand this, but thank you in advance. And I was very amused when I heard that many years ago, but I practiced that. And I promise you, it has been so rewarding for me because a lot of lessons in my life have, call me thick headed or whatever. Now I learn my lessons very, very quickly. But earlier, till I was around 28, 30, I've taken a whole decade to learn one single lesson. I wasn't an easy learner. But when I completely sit in faith and I sit in a lot of faith, saying and believing that not 1 centimeter of my life is going against me. Everything is going for me and for me alone, whether I understand it, whether I don't understand it. This is happening for me. Even if it's me having broken a bone, it's happened for me. Even if it's me having lost $1,000, it's happened for me. Even if it's my client writing some shit on Instagram about me, it's happened for me. It's going to help me to change something. It's going to help me to introspect. It's going to help me to, it'll reveal an emotion. It'll reveal a part of my personality that needs to be healed. It's all happening for me. So I also sit in the bathroom. I also sit and cry and fight with God, and I call him all sorts of things because for me in my head he's like this best friend, come father figure who's very patient, who's always sitting with this glass of water saying, "It's okay, baby, we'll get through it." But I feel free to talk to him. And I continue to say that I don't know why you're doing this. Stop testing me. I'm tired now. Listen, make it easier sometimes. But I know that you're doing this for me and thank you for it. Thank you in advance. The lesson will, but we have to be patient. We want everything yesterday. It doesn't work like it does not work like that. Sometimes your manifestations, you will say that, I was waiting to manifest a house for 24 years. All other manifestations were happening except for the damn house. Everything else worked. And I'm like, why would you not do this for me? I mean, oh my God, everybody's getting their house and I hate it. I'm hating it. I'm hating it. And I understood now that if I had bought a new house at any time earlier, it was not a big deal. I had a 2 BHK, I wanted a 3 BHK in Bombay City. And I was like, how hard can it get? But what I learned was I was this very ordinary home science graduate who had no standing in life, who had no agenda of having a career, who had no source of making money, no acumen, no business learnings, nothing. But because the fire in my belly was so much for that house, I worked my way up. And it took me 24 years to go from nothing to being this woman who could own a 3 BHK house in a city like Bombay with the most expensive real estate all by myself. All by myself. Could I have not done it earlier? Oh, yes, I could have. This lesson could have been complete in 10 years instead of 24 years, but I was in denial. I was sitting in an ego space where I told myself, my husband is supposed to do it for me. My father in law is supposed to do it for me. My father is supposed to do it. I'm not supposed to do it. I'm not supposed to do it. And I think God literally just shot down every event where he's saying, no one's going to do it for you. I want you to know how strong you can be. I want you to know that you can earn this by yourself. Every person who told you you were not good enough, every person who told you you failed at math, every person who told you you can't make money was wrong. And I need you to experience this yourself. So you're going to work your way up into buying that house so that you never have this belief system again that you are not good enough. It took me 24 years to learn one simple lesson that I could do it myself. Is it God's fault? No. Is it my husband's fault? No. I wasn't willing to learn. That's why it took that much longer. If we are open and willing, if we are willing to do the work, lessons can come like this.
And so many out there who are listening to this right now and who've relinquished all hope of ever finding a better tomorrow, becoming a better version of themselves. There you go. Not only did you accomplish and manifest your own dreams and desires, but here you are creating a blueprint for others to follow suit. Guys, we now have a template. Thank you, Kavyal. We got
Thank
this.
you.
We can do this too.
Yes, of course. And I'm telling you, I'm the most ordinary person you will find out there. There is nothing extraordinary. There is nothing special. There is nothing luckier than somebody else. I think people love me. Women love me. They say that they can relate to me. They can connect to me. It's simply because there is a Kavyal Seddani in all of them. I am that ordinary. Could do it. Someone who had no educational backing, no extra good looks, no extra nothing, no extra opportunities. You guys have much more than that. So if I can do it, you can definitely do it. And you can do it faster and in a more efficient.
Especially the new generation who is so much more savvy, so much more well equipped from a technology, and I feel even worldly smarts and people skills, and they just have that confidence and bravado as well, which I feel was a little bit more diminished in our times when we were aging or growing up through our teens.
No, if we had any confidence, the society around us made sure to stamp on it.
Absolutely.
And also possibly tell us that you have no right to have this confidence. You better keep this confidence in the backyard, my dear, if you want to get married, because this confident girl is not going to do in our homes. So, yes, the new generation has a lot going for them.
Thank you. That deeply resonates, Kavyal, the fact where you highlight that all the powers and the ability is inherent. When you say that if you could do it, if I could do it, so can you. And what that says to me is, again, society has created this version, this avatar of a hero as someone that's grand, flashy, flamboyant, एंड एक्सटर्नल कोई बाहर से आएगा हीरो बन के मोस्ट लाइकली मेल भी होगा एंड वो आके तुम्हारा डिलीवरेंस करेगा तुम्हें बचाएगा एंड डैम इट why does someone else have to be my hero? Why can't I be my own hero like you did?
Only you can be your own hero. You can definitely have somebody coming from the outside to break your heart, to shatter your confidence, to make sure you feel good for nothing. You will also have people who will support you in your journey, but only you are your hero. And only you will decide what is the flavor your life will be, what is the color your life will be, what is the texture your life will have. And you better keep that remote control with yourself. Because if you're going to give it away and you're going to let other people decide, you tell me how my life should look like. Okay, why don't you design my life the way you like it? I promise you, you're going to be disappointed because they will not design it depending on what's best for you. They will design it depending on what's most convenient to them. So you don't give your remote control away to the people outside, even if they look like knights on shining armors and horses. Keep it with yourself.
Wait, such an aha. So, what you're saying is that I indeed control my own remote control, and it's not the privilege of other people to push buttons and say, okay, let's make her angry now, let's give her some joy, let's give her temptation, let's pull her down. That I can manage and I can trigger and create my own emotions and experiences. Is that possible?
That is the only way to be. If you are going to give away a remote control and you're going to say, that's mine, you press this and I dance, you press that and I cry, you press this and I will be shattered into 1,000 pieces, the world is going to love playing around with you. You're going to be a royal mess. But the privilege that that's my remote control, I will only give it to one or two people who I truly trust, who have proved their worth in my life, who have shown to me over and over again that they have my highest benefit in their mind. Only you can make me feel a certain way. Nobody else. I can pretend sometimes to be angry at people to get my job done. But I will not give other people the privilege to really make me angry. I can pretend sometimes to be weaker if I don't want to escalate the situation. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm really sorry. Okay, let's do it the way you want. But they can't make me weak. That privilege is my own. So who you want to listen to, even at the cost, if you say that way, I won't have any relationships left. Well, you are far better off having two people in your life that you trust and that you are happy with rather than having 20 that you have to people please. You decide.
So many ahas there. And I really hope, especially the younger generation or younger women, are sitting up and paying attention. So, what we typically tend to do is in that rush and eagerness to find love, romance, acceptance, we keep offering our heart on a platter in the hope that it will be honored, it will be respected, it will be safeguarded. And what you're saying, Kavyal, is let them first demonstrate that they are capable before you give them your heart, and not pehle de do and then it's up to them ki prove kare, go smash kar de.
No, let people prove their worth in your life. But of course, when I say that, people see it as one way. That just the way we are asking somebody else to prove what is your worth in my life, what do you bring onto the table, how do you help me grow, you will have to prove it also. You will also be put on test. Then you can't be an entitled, privileged child saying, I am a gift from heaven on mankind and I don't need to prove anything to anybody, but Kavyal said, you need to prove yourself to me. Babe, doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You also have to make sure that you are in a position to bring out the best from your partner. You are that person that your partner feels like I want to give up everything to be with this person because when I'm with this person, I'm the happiest, I'm the safest, I'm the most confident. She's my biggest cheerleader. She trusts my dreams. She wants me to pursue them. She's willing to go all the way. You will have to be the person you are expecting your partner to be. It works both ways.
Yes. And also understand this reliance on somebody external and different to create our happiness. Well, happiness is self made. If I can't be happy with my own self, where is the guarantee? Anybody can do that for me or give me that.
Letting go of external validation. The day you can truly let go of the external validation, you will find peace. You don't have to go onto the Himalayas for that. You don't have to meditate for hours for that. But just knowing that that's okay if I'm not understood in this moment. That's okay if I'm not liked in this moment. That's okay if I'm not popular in this moment or somebody's not seen my reel or somebody hasn't called me to a party. I'm still very happy with myself. The day you can reach that point, that day you know that you're mastering peace. And that's a very, very, very valuable day in your life.
You know, that point about being excluded or dropped from party lists, I'm not quite sure that's actually a bad thing.
Yes, my husband and me laugh about the fact that people have FOMO and we have JOMO, the joy of missing out.
Well, I'm in your JOMO club as well. Thank you for that acronym.
Yeah.
So, Kavyal, on our theme of finding lightness, your inner light from that space of hopelessness and darkness, I feel that whatever we look at amplifies for us in life. If I am looking at that darkness, then the world around me will convey it's doomsday. It's all done, all finished. Khatam, tumhara kuch nahi ho sakta. But if I choose light, then I will notice those glimmers of hope, those rays of light, that promise of a better today and a better tomorrow. The choice is mine.
Absolutely. Which way do you want to look at life? Half full, half empty? You want to look at the night and say it's beautiful because I can see the stars, or you want to look at the morning and say it's beautiful because I can see the sun. There is beauty everywhere. It depends on where you're focusing. You know, we have this negativity bias where one bad thing in the day and we will forget the other 23 hours which were glorious or which were even ordinary or which were normal and everything was fine. But normal is boring for us. We want drama, we want masala, we want something negative to talk about. So we focus or we get fixated on that one event that didn't go our way and we go on and on and on and on and on about it. Isn't that unfair? Isn't that unfair to God? Isn't it unfair to our own souls that have designed our journeys? Isn't it unfair to anybody and everybody around us that, hey, your mother has been loving you to bits and pieces, like every single part of her loves you like crazy. But because of that one girlfriend that abandoned you, you think you're not loved? You think you're not lovable? Right? So focus on the good stuff. There is plenty, there is ample. But no, you want to focus on the lack. Well, every thought that you think is designing your life. So be aware and be careful. Nobody else has a problem with how shitty or how glorious your life turns out. You're the only one who's going to suffer or prosper.
Kavyal, your journey is such a beautiful, profound, and in some ways, even a personal reminder to me that even in our darkest moments, there's always light. And more often than not, it's right here, right within. And you know, as your story shows, Andar ki roshni is never lost. We just close our eyes to it, but it's always there.
There is. You know, there's one quote which I would like to read out to you, which I've kept handy at all times in my life. And when I was in my darkest spaces, I read this over and over again. And this quote is by Marianne Williamson. And it says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. And it's not in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people the permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically will liberate others. I have lived by this.
Absolutely, deeply uplifting and so surreal and makes so much sense. I think everyone, each one of us out there really needed to hear this. Kavyal, thank you for that beautiful quote. And it brings an anecdote that I'd love to share with you just because there's so much great resonance. Many years ago, as a much younger version of myself, 4 or 5 years ago, right? Because we're growing and learning every single day. I was doing a virtual podcast and I'll share with you who this amazing lady is later. But first, let me tell you the episode. So I was meeting a very famous, highly acclaimed, achieved, nationally awarded actress for a podcast. She was dialing in from Bombay and I was, joining from here. And we'd had a few conversations prior and decided on the dress code, the theme. So we were both going to wear our dress blazers. And then when she came on, it was a Facebook Live, social media live. So when she came on, the first thing she did was imagine her humility, apologize very, very profusely for not being in a blazer. She'd had a long day, etc., etc. And here, eager beaver me, of course, I was all decked out in my blazer, sticking to the theme. And I instantly offered, Ki, I shall remove mine as well. That, it's okay. Let's just both do the same thing. And in that moment, this person that I look up to as an artist, as a woman, said to me, Naviksha, never ever dim your own light for anybody else. Never ever dim your own light for anybody else, not even me. You keep that on. And Kaveri, this lady was the amazing Madhu, whom we all know as the Roja fame actor.
Yes, she's lovely. Yes, she's beautiful. Yeah.
Lesson in humility. So, as your story shows us, and to everybody listening out there today, remember healing and finding your light is not a destination, it's an act of devotion. It is the road within, it is the journey that you make every single day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is just, healing is just remembering that as a soul, we have always been whole and complete. And we will be whole and complete again when we are willing to forget what other people have called us. And when other people's judgments don't bother you, no matter how many times you've broken down, you are still whole and complete. Your beauty is in your imperfections. Don't let go of that.
Well, thank you for shining that amazing, deep, profound, joyful light of yours with us today, Kavyal. And may you continue to burn brighter every single day and keep lighting all hearts around you everywhere.
Thank you so very much for having me. And I wish you the same. I wish you love. I wish you everything that makes you happy.
Thank you so much. Until next time.